Welcome to the Proctor training for the November 2017 National Knowledge Exam. This info session is facilitated by CPHR Canada and Assessment Strategies Incorporated. Your participation will help ensure a smooth administration of the National Knowledge Exam. On behalf of all its member associations, CPHR Canada works with assessment strategies to design, develop and administer the NKE. Thank you for your commitment as a proctor for the upcoming National Knowledge Exam. Without your involvement, we would not be able to successfully administer the exam. This presentation is intended to complement the Proctor's Manual. The Proctor's Manual contains important information regarding the security of the examination, supervising exam writers, and other procedures to be followed throughout the test administration. Please have the Proctor Manual in front of you as you proceed through the presentation. About the exam. The NKE is a multiple-choice, paper and pencil exam. All answers are recorded on a scantrun sheet. Writers have 3 hours and 15 minutes to complete the exam. Included with the exam shipment is a survey for all writers to complete once they have finished the NKE. There is a section on the scantrun sheet labeled Survey Section for the writers to record their survey answers. Writers that have used up their 3 hours and 15 minutes to write the NKE will be given an additional 15 minutes to complete the survey. The writers that have completed both the NKE as well as the survey are permitted to leave the room according to the guidelines as outlined on pages 14-16 of your Proctor Manual. For all writers using the additional 15 minutes to complete the survey, you must ensure that they are completing the survey only during these additional 15 minutes. The exam booklet must be closed or removed at this time. Head proctors will receive the exam shipments a minimum of 1 week prior to exam day. Immediately an inventory must be taken of the shipment and confirm contents with Assessment Strategies Inc. (ASI) by completing the exam material callback form and faxing or emailing it to ASI. Pages 6 and 7 of your Proctor's Manual outline how to securely store the exam materials as well as the protocols to follow before, during and after the exam. Depending on the number of writers at your location, admission will open up to 1 hour prior to the exam. Read pages 10 and 11 in your Proctor's Manual to ensure smooth admission. A roster of exam writers will be included in the shipment. Writers must present their registration letter and their identification upon registering on the day of the exam. You will locate his or her name on the attendance roster and have them sign in the space provided. Check the writer's identification and hand them their ID card associated with their name. Writers will receive 1 answer sheet, 1 NKE question booklet, and 1 writer survey booklet. At the top of the exam writer admission procedures page, which is page 10, it indicates that you must clearly indicate 3 pieces of information in the room for all writers to see. These include the title of the exam, the start and end times of the exam, and the writing center code number. This code can be found at the top of the attendance roster and will need to be transcribed onto each writer's answer sheet. It is very important that each writer indicated the correct number on their answer sheet in order to ensure their results are sent to the correct location. You will also be asked to verify that the correct information has been transcribed to each writer's answer sheet when they turn in their exam. Scripts found in Appendix 9 will explain to writers how to affix the candidate ID label, complete the answer sheet and other rules that should be followed during the exam. All used and unused material must be shipped back to ASI within 24 hours after the administration of the exam. Included in the exam shipment will be an exam material packing and reconciliation form. See Appendix 3 for a sample. This form is to be completed and returned with all exam materials. FedEx and Canada Post will be used for shipping. Pre-printed return slips are included with the examination shipping materials. If a courier is not available on Saturday or Sunday, please send the shipment first thing on Monday morning. The sleeves are used to protect the exam materials in case the outside box is damaged. It is important for the materials to be put in the provided sleeves when returning the materials to ASI. For security purposes, do not identify the contents of the box on the outside of the box. For example, do not write exam on the outside of the box. Please turn to the appendices at the back of the proctor's manual. A security agreement for each proctor will come with your exam shipment. This form should be completed by each proctor who is present the day of the exam and sent back to ASI with your exam materials following the administration of the exam. Upon receipt of the exam materials, count the materials received and report the quantities to ASI no later than the date identified on the form. Contact information for ASI is provided on the form. ASI will confirm the quantities. If there are any missing materials, ASI will contact you and rectify the problem immediately. The exam materials packing and reconciliation form is printed on the back of the exam materials callback form. You can complete Section A once you send in the callback form. Section B should be completed at the end of the exam session, after all exam materials have been collected from the candidates. The irregularity report should be used to record any irregularities that occur during the administration of the exam. Any irregularities should be recorded with the nature of the irregularity and the actions taken as a result. Irregularities may include a defective test book, a defective answer sheet, a spoiled answer sheet due to candidate error, mistiming of the exam, errors in the test items, late arrivals, or any other issues that may arise. Late admittance should be reported on the back of the irregularity report. When a late admittance is permitted, the same instructions must be read to this candidate as were read to the group at the beginning of the exam. The offending candidate should sign the declaration to ensure that the candidate has received and understood the exam process instructions. The irregularity report should be signed and dated by the head proctor for the site. The answer sheet reconciliation form must be completed to indicate the number of completed answer sheets that are being sent back to ASI. Complete the form by identifying the quantities of used answer sheets. The number of used answer sheets should match with the used test books. Include the form with the used answer sheets. The used answer sheet should be stacked in no particular order and placed in the plastic bag provided for used answer sheets. The unused answer sheet should be placed with the other exam administration forms. Only one form should be completed for each writing site. The washroom break log is optional to use. Please note that extra time will not be granted at the end of the exam due to washroom breaks. The roster contains a list of all candidates who have chosen to write the exam at the location identified on the attendance roster. Take note of the number of candidates who will be writing at your site. This should also help to confirm that sufficient quantities of exam materials have been received. Verify against Section A of the exam materials reconciliation form. Once candidates have registered and their ID has been verified, the candidate should be instructed to initialize the sign-in column of the attendance roster. The candidate should then be directed to their assigned seat. After the exam session has started, verify the number of candidates that have signed and the number of candidates that did not show on the attendance roster. Proceed to count the unused test books. The total number of unused test books and the number of used test books should match the total number received as reported on Section A of the exam materials reconciliation form. Do not complete Section B at this time. Wait until the exam session is finished and all materials have been collected. Candidates must complete the answer sheet in pencil only. Candidates should be instructed to complete the top portion of the answer sheet and fill in the test form number included on the test book cover. The candidates should then be instructed to place one barcode label from the ID card on the answer sheet where indicated. If the candidates have ID cards, the top right portion of the answer sheet does not need to be completed. If a candidate does not have an ID card, the candidate should be instructed to complete the top right portion of the answer sheet. The candidate number can be found on the attendance roster. The proctors should verify the answer sheet when the candidates are returning the exam materials to ensure all fields are completed correctly. If the test form number is missing, the proctor should ask the candidate to add it to the answer sheet. Candidates should be instructed to mark their answer by completely filling in the oval of the answer they have chosen on the answer sheet. No stray marks should be made on the answer sheet. Please note that there are fewer questions in the test book than there are answer fields on the answer sheet. The survey section should be used for candidates to mark their NKE writer survey responses. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the Proctor training session. If you have questions that have not been answered throughout the presentation or in the Proctor manual, please contact your provincial association. Please be sure to confirm with your provincial association that you have completed this training session. Thank you once again from CPHR Canada for your commitment to the advancement of the HR profession in Canada and the CPHR designation.